that when I was, I think I told it the naturalist skeptic. I don't think. Anyhow, he's South African, and it's on one of the Jay's streams. I've actually had a conversation while we were doing that. Is that I basically when spent my childhood in and out of a child hospital where I live.
Wow.
And the thing is I was one of the lucky ones which got to go home and all that stuff. But like one of the home that basically marked me as in the idea of suffering and the what I would call a apathetic um evil god if he
Mm.
existed
Right.
is that I saw um a year old or um a year to 2 years old girl um with almost I would give you a general figure, but it would be a 80% burned skin
Oof.
or
Wow.
at least or has a disease to which her skin is basically non-existent, and she was
Oh,
lucky.
Harlequinism.
Yeah, harlequinism, I think. Anyway, she was Muslim by the well by the clothing of her mother. So anyhow, and I looked at that and I was like, there are worse people than me out there, and I got fucking lucky. And not that I think it every day, not that I think every day my family all the time, but it's just like you know, I could have gone a worse draw,
Yeah.
and I also due to due to my mother pushing me to walk to do physiotherapy. My whole life was basically regimented into a very
A lot of therapy.
uh, lot of therapy, a lot
Mm.
of exercise, and very social interactions up until I joined cadets, which is basically ROTC, I think.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, it, I think it's ROTC from in the states, but in cadets are voluntary and extra
Okay.
it's
Yeah. Hmm.
extracurricular. It's just voluntary. It's not about the schools, like it's not within the school thing. It's just when you're on your off hours.
Right.
Anyways, sorry. um so basically I've been doing that for almost like all the way up until I was 18 years old, that I would
Okay.
basically eat, sleep, do physio, wash, and do homework by about the 9, you know, 9 p.m. and then rinse and repeat and go to school
Sure.
and and all that stuff. Sorry for the sappy stuff. But my mom pushed me to basically to try to walk better because I used to walk like a frog, let's just say, or
Sure.
will bent knees and stuff like that. So yeah, and I met a guy that was semi immunocompromised. I think I don't know if he had cancer or it was other disease. But I spent about 4 days in the ward,
Wow.
and he was like, this guy was just kind of jovial and all that kind of stuff, and I just like just like I another example as to why I was lucky.
Yeah.
And then
All right, Chris, pause.
sorry,
So,
sorry.
um, yeah,
There's a lot. Sorry.
I want
So
to
there's
I
a
want
lot.
to address this message here from Hunter Biden's laptops. Okay, Brett, my chat wants to take you to the table.
To
You
the
up for
table.
this?
What do you want to play cards or something?
They want to take you in the ring. They want to see a little bit of a throwdown, as it were.
That
So
always usually
I'm
happens
going to
when
ask.
atheists win.
I am not opposed to asking the questions that my chat asks, but note that I am operating from a general position of moderate ignorance on your stances or your interactions with other people online, because I haven't strictly followed you or seen you much before like 2 weeks ago. So take that in mind. I'm not trying to attack you. I care about you as a person. I don't want to make enemies or anything like that. I'm just saying this is what my chat is saying. Okay?
Yeah, I've seen what the chat is saying. And
Okay, good.
keep in mind also that none of these people that are in your chat know anything about me or have actually met me personally. They're doing this
Okay.
because they have issue with God and religion.
I,
Okay.
well, we'll talk about that next. How about that?
Sure.
So there's this comment. Okay, he's one of those. So honestly, Brett Keane is just here to promote his channel and convince atheists he's one of the good, nice ones. Until his anti-science, anti-human worldview gets exposed, we've seen this dance before. So, what do you think about um, that?
Well, that's clearly nonsense because I have absolute respect and admiration for science. I don't have any hatred towards science whatsoever. Some of the greatest inventions that have revolutionized the world have been done by theists.
Okay. So, what are some of the most what are some things in science that you're most convinced are just absolutely true? There's nothing I could say or do to convince you otherwise.
Mm, there's not really much that I disagree with science except for our concepts of abiogenesis and evolution, but I question it. It's not some kind of anti evolution thing, just simply questioning. There's a lot of atheists as well as
So
religious people who do
sorry,
that.
Brett. Sorry, Brett. So you just going through the genetical tree. Uh, you don't don't you don't subscribe to or like the idea that we are from common like ape ancestry.
I don't feel as though there's valid evidence for any of this, and I can give
Okay.
an example.
All right.
Would you be able to tell me how the nervous system evolved into humanity? And what time period did this happen? Was it a billion years ago, a million years ago, thousands?
I would say millions of years ago
Okay.
because because it evolved. It's like sorry. Well, for me, I'm not exactly like a. I don't have a PhD or whatever, but that's not exactly where I was going. And the thing is, do you find it uh, absurd that we come from, like all organisms of life, come from a single cell or organism or subsequent in, uh, single cell organisms?
I don't have a problem with believing that we have cells in us and that there's organisms that exist. The
No, no, no,
issue is
no, no,
believing,
no,
well, are you
no,
going
no.
to let me finish my response or
Chris, let him
how's
finish.
Sorry.
I don't believe that I evolved or my ancestors evolved from ancient rats or some kind of goo on mineral rocks or of granite or anything like that. I think that there's no evidence to support that.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So, um, the thing is that we're not descended from rodents. It's just there's a common ancestor with it, with which comes from the mammalian tree. You follow me, that Brett?
I'm listening to you, but the evolutionary tree states that we come from fish and we come from amphibians and reptiles, and
You're
that we share
simplifying too
that we
much.
share. No, I'm not simplifying. It's a genetic relationship with every creature on the planet in some form or
So,
another.
okay, so here's where I want to just pause that whole debate and dialogue, because I think what's really appealing to a creationist type of narrative, and this goes with like a concept that I've presented before, which is called like mental heuristics. It's that the extrapolation of an idea over an immense time period with a lot of intermediary steps that have to be explained and rationalized throughout that time period is very difficult for our minds to comprehend, to walk through, to remember where we started, and then arrive at the ending with coherence. Um, and so the appeal of the creationist narrative is no, 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 we just always started this way, is really high, because there is such a great difference and divide between the proposed time period and the number of abstractions and steps you have to take to get to where we are today. It's almost like explaining, why is Niddy wearing this particular black zip up hoodie? I would have to go through so many antecedent causes that everyone would get nauseous, click off the stream, click the dislike button, and be like, this guy fucking ranted for an hour and a half about how he got this black hoodie, and we're still not at the end of it because he got all the way. He's going to go to the Big Bang, but it's going to take him 8 hours, right? We don't create explanations like this. And the reason, like, a creationist or we were created in this manner works so well is because it creates a shortcut, a a simplicity to it that feels good to us, that we like to hear, like, oh, I started this way, or most people were already pretty close to this way. It doesn't require much more. My brain doesn't have to expend more energy, and we don't have to sit here longer to get the answer that we're really looking for. So, Brett, I think that I agree with you that the long scale, that the let's say science leaning or agnostic atheist skeptics or naturalists, or metaphysical naturalists up, adhere themselves to, it is really hard to get your head around it. But recognize that your aversion to it is because it is hard to get your head around it. It's almost like trying to say, well, I'm going to actually play biblical now. It's almost like trying to say, why did God have Lot sleep with his daughters?
Because
You
he
have to
didn't.
cut. What?
That's not what the Bible says. The Bible does not teach that God made him do it or had him do it. It teaches that his
Okay.
daughters got him drunk and did that.
Well, but the descendants of those, right, like, all play some kind of role in salvation history as well, right?
When I
Or
came in here just to chill out and have a discussion with somebody. I'm not the one that brought in evolution and the anti-views or any of that stuff. So
sure,
I,
sure,
I
sure.
just want you to know that I didn't come in here to battle you or
Well,
try to see who's
I'm
the
not trying to
smartest.
make it a battle. I'm just saying that mental heuristics and shortcutting the explanation to something smaller makes us feel better.
And it has nothing to do with feeling better. I've seen
It
300
doesn't.
atheists in debate get destroyed because they can't demonstrate evidence for evolution.
Can I interject a little bit here?
Sure,
The
Chris.
also reason why, well, at least from in my belief, that creationists have a hard time, eh, um, have a hard time getting their heads around and even accepting evolution is that it humiliates the human condition. It humiliates us. It humbles us that in a sequence, like in a change reaction sequence of events, we got to where we are. Not because of, well, a lot of people said don't really like to say by chance or happenstance or whatever, but it's just we were able to get to necessary steps and at the right place at the right time to get to where we are. And the theists don't like that because it makes them, well, at least in my estimates, it makes them feel non-special. It's like we are not special. And with the same thing with my story is that I am not special. I
Hmm.
like, with the argument of evil and suffering, we are not special. It makes it like suffering and evil, as theists would put it, helped us to get where we are. We are, at the end of the day, we are not special. The world, like the earth, does not care about us. Millions of whatever species that ever existed are extinct by this point. And then you got the thing that branches out where you got the
Well,
where
Chris,
you
that's
get,
because a global
anyhow,
flood happened and all those
anyhow,
creatures were the product
whatever,
of original sin.
whatever,
So,
I
whatever.
don't understand how this long rant correlates to actual demonstrated evidence though of
Because
evolution.
you are not special. You know, in
I didn't say
retrospect,
I was special.
in retrospect, we are bacteria on a rock.
I I think that you've got a weird idea on how you perceive Christians. No one's claiming to be
No, no, I'm
special
not talking
here.
about
I'm not
Christianity.
embarrassed by evolution either.
Christianity doesn't have any. We are
wait,
into. Sorry.
so Brett, can you say for the sake of maybe charitability or humility that evolution could be true?
Don't see any evidence for it.
Okay.
Well, that's
Okay.
And it's
that's
not
not
because I
humility.
think it's embarrassing or that it somehow devalues me as a person. I'm simply saying I'd like to see some evidence for it. If it's going to be claimed to be science, then demonstrate the evidence.
What?
Upon
So, hang on, pause. What would be like a source, person, or like data point that you would need to see that you would be like, okay, I think that evolution could be more true than false.
Well, I got a lot of simple things that people would be able to demonstrate if it were to be true. For instance, I'd like to see how well, we're obviously not going to be able to see. We'll have to go through some kind of bone structure here, but I'd like to see how an ancient rat can transition into a primate.
Okay, wait, hang on. So you
Go
do
to
understand?
college.
Hold no, Chris. Sure, you do
Who says I
understand
didn't, Chris?
that
Go ahead
that that
there, Niddy.
that postulate for that kind of level of transition requires um uh so many generations, and that their adaptations are actually favorable to survival. Like the whole model requires a time scale that most of us won't be able to live through, right? So my question is, what's something within a rational time scale of your lived experience that you would accept or would potentially reject as evidence in favor of evolution? That I think that's a better way to frame the question, rather than like, because I want to also make sure that you understand the model, right? That if I like, oh, what?
Niddy, I completely understand what the
Okay, yeah, because
concept
I was
is.
gonna say like, where the fuck are my cats? Because I would hold up my cat and say like, how do you think we got my house cat? Right? Was it from a rat? Like, you know what I mean?
Do you suspect that your cat is ever going to turn into something else completely?
Not the direct descendants of my if my cat were not fixed. No, of course not. I wouldn't expect like a fucking shark to come out of the vagina of my cat.
Yet there are people out there who believe their ancestors came from the womb of a baboon.
Well, now, but
Ugh.
that's a wholly different thing, because you're saying that we should equally expect a liger to come out of the vagina of my cat. I'm being medically discreet and explicit here. Sorry. Let's say a liger to come out from the reproductive organs of my cat. If a liger or a liger cat or something to come out of my cat right after, right, it has intercourse or fertility with some other tiger, right? Like, no, of course not.
I understand that evolution claims to be gradually over time, millions of years it takes for the changes, but it is stating that we descended from fish, and we've descended from worms, serpents, vipers,
You're
wolves,
missing steps
all
over
this.
here.
Right,
I'm
and that's
missing what?
exactly why I'm saying that here you're applying your shortcutting heuristic of like how uncomfortable it is to try and extrapolate what all those possible steps, changes, and favorable mutations could be over that long time period, and then drawing a recognizable and agreeable absurdity. Yes, like nobody who believes in that model thinks that out of the cloaca of a bird pops, the cloaca of a pterodactyl pops a chicken. Like, no one thinks that.
Well, actually, according to science, the dinosaurs allegedly had feathers and transitioned over to birds.
Yes, but
Again,
it
you're
didn't
using that
happen.
shortcutting.
I don't know what you're talking about. All I know is that no evidence whatsoever has been demonstrated. This all sounds like emotional feeling to me. Doesn't sound like actual evidence.
Go to college, Brett. Sorry, but go to
Well, I
college.
have went to college, but I doubt very seriously that you did, Chris.
I did
You did?
twice, twice, twice for go. Actually, once for social sciences. I also tried to go study for history for a year, and currently I'm doing
Okay.
library and
Well,
information
Chris, what's a
research.
retrovirus? Tell me what a retrovirus is.
Retrovirus. It's basically
Oh,
a virus that is not exactly, from what I understand it, is that it's a something that basically used to harm, well, was not harm us, but a virus that was used to be in
Used to be.
in
Okay.
fine. If you want to me to use that, is that basically to co-evolution that we've co-opted to help us, and also just to help us with our immune system
Can you describe how a beneficial mutation comes into existence or is formed?
due to exposure.
What exposure?
Exposure, the more that you use, well, have it, like, okay, like say measles, okay, when you have measles and you caught it, you get sick, and then
Oh, that's a
and
beneficial mutation to get the
and
measles. All
then
right.
eventually over the generations, as you get overexposure, you get a natural immunity.
Okay. How does the immune system form through evolution?
Okay, we're going on circles over here.
Hey, you
Yeah.
guys wanted to do the evolution thing, so here we are. I was just here chilling to tell you what a great avatar you had, but that's what you wanted.
All right, let's
Well,
pause that. No, I'm serious because the main topic of my stream was the idea of uh, character change and the importance of character and its interlocking with belief, non belief, how you feel about yourself when you change beliefs. And so I'm actually kind of interested in that. Like, Brett, like, do you feel like what do you think is like the biggest thing that has changed in your character since you apparently, I guess, were an atheist and you became a Christian? Like, what do you think about how you see the world? And so, first question is, what do you think is the biggest part of your character that's changed since you become a Christian? And then, what do you think about your relationship to the rest of the world, um, and how has that changed since you became a Christian?
Well, one thing for sure is the patience and endurance when having discussions with people. Back in the day, whenever I was a non believer, if people continued to do personal attacks, I'd just tell them to screw off and I'd go play a video game or something. Definitely changed. So that's one of the biggest things, and I consider that an accomplishment.
Okay. Now, do you see any veracity in the idea of like the web of beliefs idea? I think you said earlier that you did.
Yeah, I agreed with a lot of the things that you were saying. I was listening to and came in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really important for a lot of people who, listen to my channel, like, and sub to it and whatever, to hear like that we can find a lot of points of agreement that, show that we're not like mad at each other or trying to like denigrate each other or anything like that. We're pursuing truth and we care about each other, but we're also trying to understand like, you know, how we conceptualize and understand the world around us. How we understand how we each of us understand that, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that we should all try to be respectful of each other, have good conversations, get to know each other. Sounds good to me.
Cool. Welcome, Tux. It's the real Tux. It's not just modding Tux. It's the
Yeah,
whole Tux and nothing but the Tux.
yeah. I had the browser on Firefox. I forgot I have to put it on Chrome.
Because
So
Yeti mics and Firefox are hell.
I didn't. I did not know that.
Yeah. But
I'll be
yeah,
right back, Niddy. I'm going to grab some more water.
you're good, Brett. I might not go too much longer because I'm gonna probably need to get some rest myself. But yeah. So yeah, Tux, how's poker been? You guys
I'm
done?
playing poker. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm still playing. I have. I don't know what I have. I'm probably gonna get beat here.
Well, that's what happens when you gamble.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you just have to sign away your check. So that's it.
I like it when Tux gives me money though.
Nice.
It's not often, but it happens.
Nice.
Anyway, so I know
But yeah,
that
what do you
this.
think about the topic tonight, Tux? Just general,
No,
like,
no evolution. And Chris,
yeah,
you
screw
speak so
evolution. Forget about
slowly.
that.
You speak so slowly. It's killing me.
Yeah, I know. I am not exactly the best orator when it comes to those type of things, but I am a good attack dog, though. But yeah,
um. Yeah. Um.
Well, the original topic was the idea that when your beliefs change, you might start to see yourself differently. You see the entire world around you differently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, how much does that like affect your life now? Does it bother you at all?
Yeah. YouTube punk. I can't do that when he's live. I
All right, I've returned. How you
I
doing?
was. I'm doing well. So explain to me when you went transition from atheism to let me drill down for a second, Brett, on some information about you. When you transitioned from atheist to Christian, you went from thinking the Bible was what to Christianity and what to you.
Hmm. I believe that the Bible is a collection of authors who felt that they had a personal experience as well as engagement, interaction with God.
Like for instance, what's your best case for that?
What, believing that they had personal experiences?
Yeah, and they wrote it down. And who do you refer to when you say personal experiences? They had
Well,
personal experiences with each other.
every single one of the authors, obviously, they all wrote about their engagement and interaction with what they believed to be God.
Mm-hmm. Um. So who do you think made the best case? Because I'm completely on the opposite side of that. I don't think one single person wrote of their experience with Jesus. Not one. And just as you were saying you didn't find good evidence, I haven't found good evidence either. I think it's more or less people said something and they found that they could gain power by people believing it. And human origin creates human problems.
Well, it's not just the Bible itself. It's the fact that billions of people claim that they've had interactions and experiences. Now, I don't know all these people personally, but it seems to me that it should be considered significant that almost a majority of the human race since the dawn of time has believed that there's an intelligent designer or creator. So I felt it was important enough to look into.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the origin could be tall tales that developed into good entertainment that develop it into something that we see now?
Well, I wouldn't know how to be able to go about differentiating that. It is based on faith as well as a belief system. You simply have confidence and trust in what you're reading or what you're hearing or what people's experiences are.
If it's deception of origin, how would you suggest someone make sure that they're not being deceived? Is
Well,
faith a good answer for that?
I believe that there's nothing inherently wrong with having faith and hope that there's more to the universe than what meets the eye.
When would being deceived go too far if the Bible itself were deception and the stories within are just stories or controlling elements of the human population as a form of deception? At what point would you say, you know what, I maybe should step away from these collection, as you put it, of experiences, and evaluate it as something that is for the betterment of mankind? We should maybe not worship from this.
Well, I don't see any book on the planet as dangerous. I've got a huge bookshelf, and not one of them have ever jumped down and bit me or did something wrong to me.
But the thing is that those books are ideas, and ideas can fester and simmer down into vulnerable and impressionable people. And that's what the problem is.
Well, I think that people setting up on podcasts and shows telling young children that drugs are okay, abortion's good, and also that there's no God without any evidence to disprove it. I think that that can cause some
I'm not
problems with children as
I'm not
well.
talking about Brett, I'm not talking about the issues over here. I'm talking about the fact that though that any book, any book of philosophy, um, religion, whatever, is what they are dangerous about is that like their potential to be dangerous is when you couple this with vulnerable and impressionable people, young, old, middle age, whatever. And when you couple this with the um sorry, I'm trying to explain this without using like it's like
I'm busy in
sociology
the
jargon.
chat. Sorry.
But if you couple this and put people into a milieu, into an environment that is feels like is it is oppressive, that there's no way that they're and that they are less than or less than in our case human, you will see the rise of extremism
Hmm.
any way you look at it, like ghettos, like the environment of think of a bit of having those books and reading about them, and you're in the middle of a ghetto, in a dystopian ghetto, to which you're you are just a number. You are your life is measured uh, by what you contribute as in the working class, or is basically what is your somewhat worth, as in money, and the corporations over you is always sapping you from what every penny of what you are worth. That's what I'm saying. Those books are dangerous about, or their potential to be dangerous is about. And if you don't, and I know that I'm not exactly um, good with with words on this, but if you ever see the ever read about the cyberpunk Cyberpunk Universe by Michael A. Pondsmith, you will see that this is what I am talking about. That you that that world is what it makes it crammed into a volatile dumpster fire. Anyway, and also if you want some subsequent stuff on YouTube, there's a video game called Cyberpunk 2077 and also Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
You got that,
Those are
Brett?
the examples on what I'm basing at
Yes.
those.
I'll
Yeah,
be
Brett.
honest. I was going to say Cyberpunk's a good game. It didn't start out good, but I'm looking forward to Starfield myself.
But then,
Chris, you're
but like I
killing
said,
me. You're killing me.
sorry.
Yeah. I didn't understand a thing you said there, in all honesty. I didn't understand a thing you said.
I'm talking about the world of Cyberpunk created by Michael A. Pondsmith. It's a um, it's a top pen and paper top table RPG about
No.
a dystopian future,
Well, Chris, if
and
you're
it's
trying to
make
find out if I like RPGs and I'm a gamer, yes, I do video games streams as well.
it's just
Cool
a pen and
deal.
paper.
You do. Yeah.
Yes,
But
RPGs, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, Fallout. Yep.
I do. But
Okay.
anyway, sorry, Tux. It's just sorry if I cannot like help you level with you, but even
Chris,
if it's a dumpster,
Chris, I got a
sorry.
gaming question for you. What was the last words that Nate said right before he goes into the vault as the nukes are dropping? What is the last words?
You're talking about
Fallout 4. Fallout 4.
Fallout 4. Um, not really, other than the fact that it's a non-win.
As the nukes are falling and he's descending into the vault, his last words are, "Oh God, oh God," and all goes dark.
Well, uh, sorry about that. If I'm not exactly into the Fallout games as proficiently, um, yeah,
Sounds like
but
somebody needs to get into some Bethesda games. You ain't lived until you did that.
well, I live and breathe BioWare, if that's any indication. Um, BioWare fan through and through. Started with the Knights of the Old Republic and Mass Effect games. So yeah, and that's how even Jade Empire, but that's just me. Um, yeah, but I don't exactly know Bethesda games as much, but still, um, there's still. It's not the fact that as you do this, I would cry, God, oh God. It's still, but I don't know what else to say about this.
Well, come
But
on, Niddy. You
still,
know I was just
it,
goofing about Fallout 4. Come on. Getting on to me about that.
Oh, it's not you.
either
Not you
way,
at all.
I did not say that
either way.
proves God because of pixelated characters. So, oh my God. Come on, people.
No, it has nothing to do with you.
Well, I know. Either way, for me, my inspirations of how I view the world is mostly by BioWare games. So sorry if I poo poo on Bethesda. So yeah.
Oh, it's all good. It's
Anyway,
all good. I've seen somebody out there named
Yeah.
B.F. Lewis says that they love mods. I've actually done voiceover for a lot of quest givers and some of the newer mods on Nexus.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm getting tired, and it's a good time now that we've gone far enough off topic, and we're all relaxed and chill. It's cool that we found like a common topic to talk about and enjoy. Um, yeah, Nitty's ready to wrap it up. Got to work tomorrow, so that's that.
Well, you know what they say,
Yeah.
Niddy? Music and art and video games, it's the universal language. I enjoyed talking to you, Niddy. Looking forward to your next stream if I catch you, all right?
Yeah, generally the
All right.
topic was just character change and finding your place in the world. And then we got in non sequiturs about evolution and wearing pants and not wearing pants and mental heuristics and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's a
And
nitty
don't
night. What do
forget
you do?
how to transition into a sweater. Can't forget that.
Ooh, oh my. Well, that's well. Both my arms are up. Woo! Thanks, character. What? What is this? It's never done this before. I'm so happy. Okay, that's nitty.
All right, bow tie blessings to you all.